Look at this, everyone. Do you know what this is? Well, that's Sleeping Beauty's castle here in Paris. But do you know what else this is? This right here is nobody. It's the Sometimes Vlog. It's a vlog that happens sometimes. It's another French sunrise here at Disneyland Paris. I am up before the sun actually today and enjoying Main Street USA. Look at dead Main Street USA. They just turned off the light bulbs going up and down the street, and people are coming in from the Disney hotels. It's extra magic hours, which extra magic hours are usually at Disneyland at home and Disneyland here are the hours in the morning, extra couple of hours before the park officially opens, where people staying in the Disneyland hotels on property can come enjoy the parks for a little while before the crowds come. Now at Walt Disney World, extra magic hours are sometimes at night after the parks close, and you get a couple extra hours to roam around. I kind of like that better. Not really a morning person, but since I've been in France and the parks close pretty early in the day, oh geez, now my hat thing's all messed up. I have been doing extra magic hours every single morning since I've been up before the dawn here at DLP. Now the camera's having trouble. This little camera is having trouble with the light, the weird light, and it's real hazy outside and cold, and my breath is turning to smoke. Anyway, it's my last full day at Disneyland Paris. I will not even be in the park tomorrow. My last day really here at the park, so I've got a lot of stuff to do. I lost 2 days of Random Land footage. I'm gonna try to cobble together something good out of what's left. But really, it's my last day to vlog or do anything. I just have to come back. I consider it the universe's way of telling me, you must come back. So as soon as the available funds and the available time are there, I will return to Disneyland Paris, now knowing a lot more about it and much more prepared to film and do wonderful things. I gotta get a new camera too, that's heavy on my mind, but I'm not gonna worry about it now. What I am gonna worry about is this. Discoveryland. I'm gonna move as fast as possible because, woo, I gotta keep the vlogs as short as possible. And by the way, these may get uploaded in all kinds of weird orders, and some of these may not be up online and available for you to view until I get home, which is fine. Tomorrow morning for me, I gotta board a crazy Airbus plane and fly back Air France all the way back to Los Angeles, California. Before I went, I wanted to show you this. Discovery. Now, most Disney parks are Frontierland, Adventureland, Fantasyland, and Tomorrowland. This Magic Kingdom park right here, Disneyland Paris, is Frontierland, Adventureland, so backwards from Disneyland, Frontierland, Adventureland, Fantasyland, which we saw before, and this, Discoveryland. Instead of Tomorrowland, we have Discoveryland. Now this opened in 1992, so it preceded the whole gold repainting of Disneyland by 6 years. Everybody always wondered, why did they paint Disneyland's Tomorrowland gold and put those crazy rocks in it? What they were mimicking was this, Discoveryland. Because they loved Discoveryland and considered it a big hit, they tried to copy it at Disneyland in 1998. It was a terrible idea, it didn't work, but as a result, you might see something really familiar as we round the corner into this land over here. Do you see this? Do you recognize this? That right there will be known to us at Disneyland as the Astro Orbiter, but here at Disneyland Paris, it's the Orbitron. Either way, whatever name you call it, it's the same thing. It started here, and look at it in context here. It makes a lot more sense. Now, Discoveryland is the solution to all of Tomorrowland's problems. Think about this. The problem with Tomorrowland is that it's constantly being refurbished. Now, I would go ahead and take 1980s Tomorrowland and enjoy that forever. That retro futurism is so cool. They try to do retro futurism, futuristic futurism, then they try to do steampunk futurism there at Disneyland's Tomorrowland. Now they're doing Star Wars-ness. Tomorrowland has the problem of like, well, how are you gonna stay one step ahead of the future? Look at this guy, he really wants someone to ride Buzz Lightyear. Sorry, yeah, not me, not right now, talking to my friends. Sorry, that's too funny. Anyway, how do you stay one step ahead of the future? Well, what you do in Disneyland Paris is you go, okay, forget the future. Why don't we think of an alternate future, one based on the works of Jules Verne and the artistic stylings of Leonardo da Vinci, that's right, of the Code, his sketchbook. And so as a result, you have the Orbitron here, sort of mixed with rockets to space. Over there you have Videopolis. Now, maybe you guys remember Videopolis. See, we'll get to Buzz Lightyear in a second. That guy's just weirding me out. Let's wait till someone's in this line so we don't have to worry about it. You might remember Videopolis in Anaheim. We had a big stadium called Videopolis back where now Mickey and the Magical Map is and all that stuff. Well, here, Videopolis is the docking port for the Hyperion ship. So what you have is around the world in 80 days, right? And then you have Orbitron stuff, and you just have this Jules Verne theme going on here. So a steampunk future. Steampunk is basically the idea that what if electricity and all that had never been discovered, and the gas-powered engine or whatever, and we had to power everything by steam, all old-fashioned, fancy gears and wheels, just sort of a retro-futuristic thing. But think about it, it's Discoveryland. It's based on a future that never existed, and based on the past, the style of Da Vinci and what did I say? Jules Verne. And so you don't really have to update it. Since 1992, this land has pretty much looked like this, and it does not need to change. Now, as a result, you have Space Mountain Mission 2 here. Look at that. When they painted our Space Mountain gold, it was the ugliest freaking thing in the world. When they built this Space Mountain, this gold Space Mountain though, totally, see, I hate that. All over the world, that's rude. Just so you know, guys, all over the world, that's a rude thing to do. Just saying. Okay, look at that. Space Mountain Mission 2. When they painted our Space Mountain gold, it was the ugliest thing in the world. I hated it. I won't even pretend that I liked it at all. It was the worst. I couldn't stand it. It looked ridiculous to me. But this makes perfect sense. This makes perfect sense. Look at that. Now, if you go on my Instagram, BlueFastIPour Instagram, you can see pictures of it all lit up at night with the neon lights and the craziness. And last night it was raining, so the ground was super wet, even more wet than now. And it was all shiny and reflecting and amazing. Anyway, this whole idea, Space Mountain Mission 2, rather than, you know, a conventional space vehicle traveling to space, what we have now, you're in the fictional Baltimore turn-of-the-century gun club, and they shoot you out of a giant cannon up into space. I'm waiting for them to do it. Are they gonna? I never know. I never know when they're gonna. All right, well, you can see right there, the loading area is actually outside of the mountain. So you actually cruise in through the mountain, queue up, and then go outside again, load up down there, and then blast your way in. I was really hoping that right when I said that. Blast your way into outer space inside of Space Mountain. It's the most colorful Space Mountain on the inside. It actually does go upside down and has a little corkscrew, so there are inversions. I guess that's like the coaster people way of saying it goes upside down. I don't know why you wouldn't just say it goes upside down. There are inversions! Anyway, I learned a new thing. Inversions, everyone keeps saying that. Is it true there's inversions? Yes, there's inversions. Inversions up there. I'm going over here on purpose so that we'll catch a glimpse of it, even if we're talking about the next thing. The next thing over here is the Nautilus, and you're going to see all this information from me again in other forms and at various times. The park just opened. This is one of the only lands that's open in the morning. Extra Magic hours early in the morning. Fantasyland, with the exception of Peter Pan's, pretty much closed. Carousel, Dumbo, and Peter Pan are open. Ooh, here we go. No, it opens. See that thing? Opens. The ride vehicles are coming right here. When it closes, they'll go in, and then it'll shoot in a second. Woohoo! So anyway, this land is one of the only lands that's open. Space Mountain opens like first thing in the morning. Pretty cool. Over here you have the Nautilus. Jules Verne's Nautilus. Everyone thinks it's a submarine ride here from the States because Walt Disney World used to have a Nautilus-themed submarine ride, kind of like the Disneyland submarines. It is not a ride at all. What this is actually a walk-through attraction where you get to, there it goes. And it's even more fun than it looks. Where you get to walk inside of this little building, down a tunnel, and into Jules Verne's, Captain Nemo's rather, Nautilus. Le Nautilus, longueur 70 meters. Or length 70 meters. How about that? So everything is in English and French here. On all the signage pretty much here, it's English and French. The menus, English and French. Actually, a lot of the menus they have in German, they have in all kinds of languages. I don't see a lot of Asian languages anywhere here, but they have English and French are prevalent pretty much everywhere. Not only because they think of Disney as an American thing over here, but we are very, very close to England. Paris is very, very close to England by train
car, sorta, and flight especially. And so there are a lot of British tourists here. I do hear some English pretty much all day. Although mostly in my experience it's been French people. That's because it's winter time, and I don't think a lot of people are like, let's go on vacation right before Christmas and use up our Christmas vacation now. So anyway, that is a walkthrough attraction. People are like, why didn't they build a ride? Why didn't they build a ride? This actually kind of is a throwback to original Disneyland, because when Disneyland first opened, that was a big hit movie for them, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Walt Disney Pictures' big first live action movie. I think, wasn't it Kirk Douglas was starring in that movie or whatever it was? 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, big thing. So they put all the sets and props from that movie, including the giant kraken, giant squid, into Tomorrowland, because they didn't have a lot to flesh out Tomorrowland with. So original Disneyland's Tomorrowland had 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea stuff in it, even before they had a submarine ride at our Disneyland, or long before they ever conceived of a Discoveryland based upon, in part, the works of Jules Verne. So I think that's kind of a cool throwback. On my left, which I've been totally ignoring, is the Autopia. You can see where we got our Tomorrowland's redesign of Autopia's influence from, was from the Discoveryland theme design, which sort of combines the whole steampunk look. You can see the girders with the holes in them and all that. It's just like this with the weird neon and all that. I don't know, it also kind of looks like an American, like the color scheme. Doesn't it look like Flo's V8 Cafe a little bit, like a 1950s gas station? Just a tad. Mixed with steampunk, like a steampunk gas station. See, there's that big loud noise, and then the gun opens, the gun closes, boom, launches you up. That's what the Autopia cars look like here. They look super rad. I guess there's no real way to make an Autopia car look like a what's it called? Like it's powered by steam. That would sort of kill the fun, I guess. So it still looks like a car, but it's sort of a cross between, like, I don't know, it just looks futuristic, like a little rocket ship. I want a real life car that looks like that. I will gladly trade my Mustang for a real life full-size car that looks like that. Look at that thing. That thing looks awesome. I wonder how Bob Gurr feels about that Autopia car right there. I'll have to ask him. All right, so the Orbitron over here, exactly like the one at Disneyland. Although the one at Disneyland obviously copied this. Orbitron, Machines Volantes. See, I don't know what that says, but that says Leonardo da Vinci. So you can see the influence very much pronounced, literally out loud. So people are speaking French and looking at the camera and getting very excited. They saw you, they know you're in there. Okay, look, Buzz Lightyear Laser Blast over here. I have no idea what used to be in there. I asked a couple of people here. Nobody remembers, which is a weird thing. Not as much nostalgia or nerds, I guess, for Disneyland Paris as Anaheim, although there are some. Nobody remembers what's in here, so maybe you can find out, because I can't think of it right now, or Google it, because I'm talking to you. But there you go, replaced whatever it was with Buzz Lightyear's Laser Blast. I know that can't be originally what it was, because this place opened in '92, and I think Toy Story was '94 or '95, wasn't it? Anyway, so Videopolis here, I never really finished, is the docking bay for the Hyperion airship. Ooh, fancy, fancy airship. Oh boy, a Zeppelin. That's mine. And inside is a massive, massive, basically stadium next to a little cafe or eatery, as we would call it, because we all call things eateries, don't we? Is a massive, massive stadium area where they put on a show constantly. You may know it. It's called the Jedi Training Academy. So Star Wars Jedi Training Academy happens inside Videopolis. It's huge. It's ginormous. Half of it's like a seating area. So what happens is you go in to get your food, and you can watch that show while you eat, which makes the show better and makes the show have a bigger audience too, which makes it way more exciting for the kids and everything. And people get really stoked on seeing Darth Vader. They have an R2-D2 that comes on the stage. The stage is way more elaborate, and I would totally show it to you right now, but it is closed until 11:45 in the morning, which is quite a ways from now. I think right now it's about like 8:10 or so, because the park just opened. Look at that thing, isn't it beautiful? In context here, Discoveryland is really, really beautiful. I know in pictures of it, I always thought it looks a little clunky and corny, but when you're here, the effect of being here really, really works. Okay, I sort of accidentally showed you what was behind me. Behind me, last but not least, and tucked away way back in a corner, is Star Tours, which we'll get to in 2 seconds after I point this out. Look, isn't that cute? I mean, she was beautiful and young and new, and he was old trash. Just old trash. But for some reason, she can't talk. He can't really talk. But for some reason, even though they can't really communicate well, it just works. I love that movie so much. I love it. Anyway, okay. Star Tours. I don't know why they're chilling there, but isn't that cool? You never see Wally anywhere. That's so awesome. It's beautiful. Wally. Okay, let me see what. Over here. Subscribe. Star Tours. Look at this. Now, part of the reason that I jumped on my opportunity to come here, other than Pirates of the Caribbean getting a refurbishment soon to add a Jack Sparrow into it. Oh, yeah, that's right. There are pirates here. No Jack Sparrow, no Barbossa, and no Davy Jones. It is pure for now, but it's changing very soon. But so is Star Tours. Star Tours is getting the upgrades and the treatment of, well, really the benefit, honestly. I don't like the new Star Tours when it first came out because it has all that prequel stuff. And I'm not a fan of the prequels, and I don't want to see prequel stuff in my Star Tours. But I have to say, after coming back and riding the original here in Paris, it's the original ride in there, the original programming, and the original captain, sans the voice of Pee Wee Herman. It's a French voice. Bonjour! Which makes me laugh every time. The little captain, you know, Captain Rex, he pops up and he goes, bonjour! Sorry, it's just funny. After riding the original again, I gotta say, the new one is better. The programming is better. The 3D does actually help. I always thought, oh, the 2D wasn't bad. It was a really believable effect. And honestly, at the time, it was. But nowadays, I gotta admit, as annoying as wearing the stupid glasses is, and I really hate it, just having to do that, you know? I don't know why. It's just a pet peeve. But as annoying as having to wear the glasses is, I gotta say the 3D effect in the new Star Tours is a lot better than the original Star Tours. However, it was pretty epic. It's basically like riding, I don't know, it's basically like time traveling and going directly into my childhood. So Star Tours is tucked back in this building here, which is under the Tomorrowland Railroad Station, or excuse me, Discoveryland Railroad Station, which is super, super closed right now. There's a Pizza Planet restaurant over there, but it's closed for the season, so I didn't get to see the Pizza Planet restaurant, which is tied into the whole Buzz Lightyear thing. But over here, Star Traders, a little gift shop, which kind of looks like the shield generator on Hoth, just a little, and the X-Wing. So even though it's Discoveryland and not Tomorrowland, and you know, Star Tours actually happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, not in the future. So does Star Tours even really make sense in Tomorrowland? Shouldn't Star Tours be in a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away land? Oh wait, it's gonna be. I don't know what I'm trying to say anymore. Anyway, Star Tours is tucked way back here in Discoveryland, kind of out of sight for the rest, and I think that's kind of cool. They could have slapped it in the front or done something crazy, like, look, Star Tours, we have Star Tours. But I kind of like that they sort of tucked it away back here and only gave it this little gift shop treatment and this little thing, this giant X-Wing thing, so that it doesn't disrupt the theming of Discoveryland, which makes me hope that when they build Star Wars Land in Anaheim, it also doesn't disrupt. But look at this. They have these little guard shacks in front of all the rides to give the cast members somewhere to stand, you know, for information and all that stuff, and to guard the entrance to the queue and explain things to guests and speak all the different languages. They have these little guard shacks, and I really like this back-to-tank looking one for Star Tours. It's to keep them out of the snow and the rain, you know, keep them dry. But look at all this theming. Look at all this. Isn't this awesome? I know how there's Discoveryland and we don't have that at home, and I'm like tripping out over 80s Star Tours theming. Bonjour. Look at all these guys walking around, getting excited about Star Tours' clothes. A couple of dads like, I want to see Star Tours. I want to see the original Star Tours. Anyway, I tried to film the original Star Tours and do a whole random land about it, and they got really mad about the whole filming in their thing. And I even explained to the guy in my best, slowest possible English, and he in his most patient English, we had a conversation about, dude, it's leaving. I came all the way from the United States. Please let me film in there. I got a couple of sneaky clips with the other camera for a random land thing, but it was no dice really. So you'll have to just Google it. Somebody else has snuck it online when there were cast members who are a little more chill about it. I don't know that I'll have time now, but the original Star Tours was here, and it was my last chance to ride my childhood's version of Star Tours. I'm sure maybe someday they'll like make a 3D version of it and play it through the screens in Disneyland. Maybe we'll get lucky and there'll be like a retro Star Tours. But how will they? Because Captain Rex isn't in there. Anyway, the original Star Tours here, at Disneyland Paris. That's basically the long and short of Discoveryland. I'm right up against my deadline for how long this video can be. I gotta keep the vlogs kind of short and sweet. Here in France, they've all ended up being way longer than I mean them to be. Tomorrow I gotta go home, so before I left, I wanted you to see the unique land, the whole land that we don't have at Disneyland, which is, of course, Discoveryland. So I'm gonna walk out to give you one last sweeping view of the scenery. There you go, Videopolis there with the Hyperion ship. You have enough room for a ride in there, which is cool. So right now, Jedi Training Academy, but what's really cool is if they ever did need to expand this land, there's not that much space, but they have space in here. You could build a heck of a huge dark ride inside of this giant stadium slash arena slash restaurant slash in there. You really could. All right, Space Mountain Mission 2. I know, when I saw pictures of it, I was like, that's weird looking, but let me tell you, it's super awesome, super fun. I think it's the best Space Mountain. Having ridden the one in Florida, which by the way was the original, before you get like, what? The original Disneyland's so good. Come on, don't betray the original. Walt never saw a Space Mountain. Walt was long gone before Space Mountain. I think 1975 was the first one at Walt Disney World. 1977, question mark, for Anaheim. This one, 1992. This one is like Anaheim's with the two seats next to each other configuration, but it goes upside down. It has the little shoulder harness, it goes upside down, there's a corkscrew, it's super colorful and kind of 90s and big and bold shapes in there. I don't know how to explain, and it's really almost impossible to film, but you gotta see it with your own eyes. It is really, really cool. If you ever get the chance, I highly recommend it. And also, weirdest of all, it basically has a 5-minute wait all day, every day. On the weekend, I think it had a 15-minute wait, and people were like, oh man, can you imagine if Hyperspace Mountain had a 5-minute wait? Space Mountain at home had a 5-minute wait? It would be amazing, amazing. All right, I gotta go onward into the rest of this very magical European kingdom before I can go home and sleep well. So thank you very much for watching. Thank you very much for coming to Paris with me. Hopefully I'll be able to squeeze off another vlog from here. I don't 100% know that it'll be uploaded before I'm actually back in the United States. So you may be watching the past right now from the future, even though I'm 9 hours ahead in the future and you're 9 hours back in the past. So, what? Anyway, now I'm really confused. Live Fast I Pour on Snapchat, on Instagram, Justin Scarlett on Twitter and Periscope. LiveFastIPour.Spreadshirt.com for sweet t-shirts. Get one now before Christmas. Check out all the links. They're down below in the description of these videos. I love you all. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.